Good morning, everyone. This is Michael, and we are working today with the idea of the destiny of the nations, the soul of nations. Well, this is a very current and important theme because right human relations between the nations does not properly exist. And in some cases, the relations are very strained and competitive. We have an intensification of a situation now going on where a battle for democracy is being fought. And we have been using the second of the great invocations to put the weight of our concentration, our spiritual intention on the side of the good, banishing evil, selfishness, let us say, the dweller on the threshold as it battles the angel of the presence. We have been trying to assist the higher powers through the use of this invocation. So let us, as we have been doing, and as we will be doing until the election, and for some time, I think after the election, use this great mantra. So let us align with the forces of the will to good, and so that in this battle for democracy being fought out, and not just now, but I think for some years to come, the higher principles will prevail, and totalitarianism will subside. Fascism, Nazism, totalitarianism, all those methods which we apparently defeated in the Great War, in the Second World War particularly. Let the lords of liberation issue forth. Let them bring succor to the sons of men. Let the rider from the secret place come forth, and coming save. Come forth, O mighty one. Let the souls of men awaken to the light, and may they stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of woe has come. Come forth, O mighty one. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, O mighty one. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, O mighty one, and blend these three. construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end. It's a powerful invocation and much needed. At this time, we have just a little more than 3 weeks before this election, which has its repercussions not only in the United States but throughout the world, will take place. And we see some amazing things happening. We see the mobilization of lawless groups who are attempting to bring about, cause a civil war once again within the United States. Quite an amazing intention. And we see this aided and abetted by the thoughts and words of the chief executive. What's to keep the situation from becoming as bad as it was during the 1930s? Well, you would think we had learned our lesson, and that the world had learned its lesson in dealing with Nazism and fascism in general. And maybe that will prove to be the case, but the battle is on, and each one of us has our part to play in supporting the new group of world servers and participating as members of the new group of world servers in preparing a more wholesome way, a healthier, psychologically healthier way to move forward, a spiritually healthier way. Right now, the personality again is being emphasized, and it is the great dweller, and it can prevent the proper entrance. There are so many people that are working well, with high mind, and with educational intention to help humanity see the light in this process, and let us number ourselves among them. We have, and will continue to do a little bit here, we've been working with the country France. And it's interesting that that particular nation, you know, is one which has significantly contributed to the fostering of democracy in the United States. The Statue of Liberty is the great symbol of the motto of the United States, I light the way. And it was a gift from France. Just the way the ideals of the French Revolution, liberty, equality, fraternity, which are in a way, the names of the three lords of liberation, were so influential in the American Revolution more than 200 years ago, almost 250 years ago. So we owe a great deal in the States to the ideals that France has kept alive, and that has to be acknowledged at a time when the four freedoms are being threatened, and when ignorance once again is trying to rise in the form of those who are strictly connected with the personality and not with the soul. Let's see here. A few things to be looked at. If, for instance, the energy of the fifth ray, which is the soul ray of the French nation, can make its potency felt in the stress and misery of the present world condition, which does persist, I might add, then to France may be given the ultimate glory of proving to the world the fact of the soul, and of giving a demonstration of soul control. We can see how important that would be. Because right now, the soul for many is simply a fairy tale or an item of belief, and is not scientifically proven. Yet it can be. And we learn about that even when studying our own integration formulas. The integration formula for the fifth ray tells us a great deal, and so does the old commentary's law of repulse on the fifth ray. The soul pattern may be translated by the genius of the French intellect into terms which humanity can understand, and a true psychology of the soul may come into being. Right now, we have the psychology of the personality. People are coming forth, let's say, in this dire situation. They are analyzing the psychology of the chief executive in the American system. They are finding that psychology wanting. They are finding it to be abnormal, which maybe is the first time in the whole history of the American presidency where such abnormality has occurred. But there is the true psychology of the soul. It takes into consideration reincarnation. It can study significant past lives and the way ahead into the future, and this will be a gift, perhaps of France with its Pisces fifth ray soul. We give to humanity to set the whole understanding of spirituality on a more firm and scientific basis. Interesting that its capital city is Paris, ruled by Virgo, with the great cathedral there of Notre Dame. It's so connected with the, I would say with the Deva evolution and with the theme of the disciple Mary and her service to the coming Christ. And perhaps some of the first initiation possibilities will come forward through Virgo and Capricorn. Both of them are signs which connect with the first initiation. Now here is the main section on France. It's a Pisces Leo country, we are told here, and is expressive egoically of the fifth ray of concrete knowledge or science, and the personality ray of active intelligence. Both of the mental rays find their place in the ray expression, the major ray expression of France. As far as we know, and with what has been given, there are no prominent third-ray soul countries. That's the one ray that seems to be left out. Maybe when DK tells us more about the political situation in his future writing, we will learn that there are countries that have the third-ray soul, but right now we're not given that. Nor does France have the third-ray soul. It has, at times, a troublesome third-ray personality, and it will connecting itself to other nations that have that type of personality. It connects with the personality of the Jewish group with its third ray. It connects with China, and I suppose Indochina, where France had aspirations, colonial aspirations earlier in previous centuries. China has the third ray personality, so does France, so does Israel. The soul of France subjectively ruled Europe for the most important and influential part of the Piscean age. Well, we can understand why, because, you know, it was the age of Pisces, and here is Pisces taking its place as the sole ruler of France. So during the High Middle Age, I suppose, High Middle Ages, it subjectively ruled Europe. He's considering this the most important and influential part of the Piscean age, now passing out. She colored and dominated by her Leo personality a large part of happenings in Europe during the Middle Ages and for centuries. She mediated the Piscean quality to the civilization of the then known world, and her definitely Leo personality, self-conscious, self-centered, brilliantly intelligent, and individual, conditioned Europe. I think this is something that we need to emphasize. It is this Leo personality, well, it connects, you know, then with the Leo soul of Italy. It is this Leo personality which is responsible for the intensely nationalistic spirit of the modern French, and which negates in them the more Aquarian tendency to universal consciousness, or to the expression of the advanced Piscean soul to save the world. There was a time when France and Russia had a great deal to do with each other, and this is to be expected with Russia having also the Leo personality. France comes before the world, so this is a kind of an indictment, at least from some 80 years ago. The lesson France has to learn today is that the salvation of others is the goal of her Piscean soul, and in this the self-interest of Leo precipitates conflict, one to which France is slowly awakening. Now, does this still hold good? Apparently the astrological indicators have not changed. We have the brilliance of the Leonian energy found in Brazil. I believe there we have the soul, I think so, on the ruled by Leo. We have the Italian soul ruled by Leo. We have the Russian personality ruled by Leo, and France. Maybe there are some others as well, but DK is saying that the Aquarian and Piscean energy, rightly applied, can bring benefit to humanity, and that France must awaken to that. The egoic ray of France is that of concrete science, and this is working in conjunction with the energy of the fifth zodiacal sign. There is numerical resonance there. And it has given the French people their intellectual brilliance and their scientific bias, though we might question whether the mind nature might be ruled by the fourth ray in that beautiful language. The forces of crystallization. Well, I'm going to emphasize this. Numerical resonance is very important. And the 5 and the 5, we're told that Leo brings in the fifth ray. It's not only the fifth sign, it brings in the will to illumine. And so we can see how this correlates very much with the fifth ray soul of France. The forces of crystallization pour through Paris, which is ruled by Capricorn in its personality, and yet the soul of the French nation is nurtured in that great capital through the soul of the city, energized by Virgo. See, a Piscean soul in the country and a Virgo soul in the capital city. And those are the opposites, and they bring in the second and the sixth ray. So the soul is nurtured in that city, that city of light, energized by Virgo. And forget not that, well, he's saying it, Virgo is the polar opposite of Pisces. And the infant Christ in Virgo comes to full flower in Pisces. Here lies the hope of France. Interesting that the Piscean age is fading out, but the soul nature of that particular cosmic decanate that we call Pisces, and which is so connected with the Christ, is prominent in France. You will remember perhaps that some years ago I indicated that from France will come a great psychological or soul revelation, which will bring illumination to world thought. And the most luminous of all the ray lords is the fifth ray lord, under which we imagine that France operates. There is a strong influence of the fifth ray lord upon the French. If the true Piscean element can be drawn forth, and the selfishness and the protective instincts of the French nation can be offset, France then stands free someday to lead the world spiritually, as she has effectively in past history, from the more political and cultural aspects. But this can only happen when the personality ray is subordinated to the soul ray, and Leo can respond to the Aquarian influence in the coming new era, when Aquarius is dominant. I think it's fascinating how he interprets these relationships, and we can learn a lot through the law of analogy about interpreting relationships between human beings when we study the relationships of nations and vice versa. So this will be the, I'm not going to take it any further right now, the end of study of France on 10 October and beginning on 17 October, next Saturday. And it will be evening program. Perhaps it's not so much the specifics of the interrelationships that we have to understand, as it is the method of relating. And I find this book to be extremely useful in drawing forth the relationships, making them clear. We'll be spending a couple of sessions, I think, on the study of the direct and indirect influences as we see. And the indirect influences are very important, also in our own individual horoscope. And there'll be much more to add to this. I think almost something you might call the Destiny of the Nations, Part 2, when the Tibetan begins to write again. Okay. And right. So one of the things that we always do is look at our spiritual citizenship. And this means that we have to think beyond our own personal good. It's so easy to think in terms of the material welfare of our personality. It is the natural tendency, but for members of the new group of world servers such as we seek to become, it's not the right way. We have to think in an unselfish manner, and we owe a kind of loyalty to the best qualities of our nation, and we need to blend our own soul qualities with the soul qualities of our nation, and to ensure that our personality qualities, which are more on the material side, do not somehow support and render obstructive the personality qualities of our nation. Usually the trouble comes from those qualities and the inability to really coalesce and harmonize and cooperate with other nations arises from the personality qualities of the nations, or maybe from the soul qualities as appropriated by the personality. So let us think again and of our own soul virtues, being as objective as possible and trying to see things honestly as they really are. And now for the qualities, the soul qualities of our nation. Now, we may be related to other nations, we may have transported some of their soul qualities in our citizenship of our present nation, and we may look at them in combination, but to be practical and effective, we do live in a particular nation, most of us. Maybe dual citizenship comes in for some people. We were born perhaps in a certain nation, and we live now in a different one. But considering particularly the nation in which we live, what are the soul qualities which, when shared with the international body of nations, can advance harmony and cooperation and right international relationships and therefore right human relationships? Soul qualities of our particular nation. And how do these two factors, our own soul qualities and our own national soul qualities, relate to each other? What are we as spiritual citizens of our nation equipped to give to the development, let us say, of the causal body of our particular nation? when we, discover what may be the motto of our nation, either given by DK or a likely motto that we can intuitively register, we will know what we have to advance, promote in our nation. We will also know what we have to curtail, suppress, dissipate, because every nation, like every person, has its obstructive qualities, which must not be allowed to prevail. At the present time, in this great battle for democracy, the human dweller on the threshold, the selfish human personality, is being emphasized and is a great danger to those who know less, perhaps because of experience which is not quite as full. It's quite impossible, to take people who have had experience of a certain duration and pretend that they will have learned everything that those of greater experience have learned. There is, within the human monad, there is no difference. There is no essential hierarchy of being per se, but in the instrumental expression of that being, there is a hierarchy. And so DK emphasized that it was necessary that disciples not at this time rule the world and according to their own values, or they would produce a cleavage between the ordinary individual, not yet really aspiring to spiritual things, and the kingdom of God. And that's just what hierarchy wants to blend and merge, not to see it one separated from the other. I think we have to take his word for it when we present values which are too far beyond the reach of the ordinary non-aspiring individual. There can be, as we know, quite a rejection of those spiritual values. We have to find the educative way to make those values appealing, step by step. And so let us say together the mantra of unification. This is what we seek to see as the state of humanity once the soul values are expressing, once the nations are contributing their soul values to humanity's soul, and once every human being who can developmentally be a citizen, a spiritual citizen of their nation, begins to contribute to the causal egoic lotus development of their nation. The individual, the nation, and the soul of humanity. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all men love. So although we may spend a lot of inner time thinking about our own soul development, the soul is, after all, group conscious. And it is the larger groups of which we are part that must be nurtured by the qualities we develop. So we learn to think in broader terms, group terms, community terms, national terms, international terms, and in terms of the entirety of the one soul of humanity, over which the Christ presides, seeking to draw it forth into expression, seeking the way to initiate the soul of humanity. He knows how to do this, and we must cooperate with his reappearance and the reappearance of his hierarchy, so that these desirable objectives may take place upon the physical plane, regenerating also the outer life of humanity, which so often fails to reflect the inner spiritual values. We will close with the great invocation from 1935, invoking the forces of light and goodwill. And tomorrow, the attraction of financial resources for sustaining the work of the hierarchy.